Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host here, Chantele Francis, here with my co-host, Phil. How you doing today, Phil?
Doing great. How's it going?
It's going super well. I was just saying before we got online here that I think I miss you because I feel like it's been so long since we last spoke, but now we're back together. We are here. We are here.
There's just not enough shows for me right now. I mean, my Amazing Race. This is what we've got. Australia.
Oh, I mean, you can come on any Big Brother you want at any time. Just so
That's true. That's true.
like, if you choose to, you can. Yeah, I guess we don't really watch the challenge. And
no,
do you watch any?
I did hear a rumor. I heard a rumor.
What's the rumor?
Amazing Race Canada is going to start soon. They're going to start filming soon.
Did they already have a
cast? They're going to put that out too, like very, 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 very soon.
I know that you're probably putting one out with your partner, but like, should we do it? Should we put an ad out?
After all these podcasts, you still want to run with me?
I mean, I would just do all the height stuff, and I'd do all the bike riding, and I'd do all the
crocodiles, clowns,
and I would do all the clown stuff. All things I'm not afraid of at all. So that's good.
So I'll do a puzzle and a maze.
Yeah, hopefully we can figure out which ones are those. And so if you haven't figured it out already, we are going to be talking about episode 9 and 10 of The Amazing Race Australia. If you haven't done so already, please do us a favor and subscribe right down below. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers. And just to sweeten the deal, I'll remind you again later on, if you subscribe and send me a screenshot to one of my socials, or I might even made up a reality realness with 3 S's at gmail.com, send me a screenshot of your subscription and I will put you in a draw for a $100 gift card to Amazon. And if you're in Canada and you would prefer to have a email transfer, I can do that as well. So trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Once there, we'll be doing that draw. So please help us out and enter for a chance to win. Just saying.
Good luck, everybody.
Pardon? Yeah, good luck. Exactly. I do have some people that are in, so let's get in there. I only have 260 more spots left, basically. So I don't know. You can take up 5 spots and make up 5 email addresses and enter 5 times. So I'm not against it. I didn't hear nothing. But back to the main event. We were talking about The Amazing Race. And do we want to take a look at how the survey went from last week?
Yeah. So last week we did a survey for episodes 7 and 8, or legs 7 and 8. So the majority of people said no, they do not like the addition of a new team. And no, they're not rooting for MJ and Chelsea. Oh my goodness! Wow.
Agreed. I mean,
I'm not.
You're not rooting for them? Yeah, exactly. Like,
how afraid of crocodiles are you? Not bad. It was about 6. So not bad. We've got Skye-Blue and Jake helping Sefa and Jessica. Will this hurt them? Most people said no, they don't think so. In the fight, people said both of them were in the wrong between Dwes and Katherine. The underwater helicopter escape definitely was the hardest task. And most people say actually it's only about 2 for Amazing Race Australia compared to the other series, how hard it is. People think it's a little bit easier.
I mean, yeah, we were saying
so far
because they don't have to contend with those other cultures and yes, they're dealing with the heat, but it's like I just can imagine sweating in India on like a super packed train, completely not knowing the language and where you're going, and nothing is written in anything familiar. So just that alone, like, is leaps and bounds ahead of in difficulty to just being in their local country, native country. So
yeah,
I agree with them.
Most people think that MJ and Chelsea made the right choice of who to give the salvage pass to in that situation. And this is a bit surprising. the team that's the most being rooted for to go all the way at this point, Ashley and Amanda.
Really?
Yeah. Well, they've been doing pretty well. Girl power, they have been doing pretty good. So
what I've been noticing, and I'll probably mention it again, is that it seems as though they have a lot of history with a lot of different, interesting, unique tasks. So that's actually really been coming into play for them. So that's probably why they're starting to do really better, because they just have done a lot of these things before, which is pretty cool, that they're not like doing it at professional levels. Like they're not like a professional rock climber or something like that, but they've had experience in some of these things. So I definitely, I'm not rooting for them to go all the way, but I don't want them to go home yet, you know?
No, I what I do like is the way that this was starting was the other girl team seemed to be in trouble. And so I do like that Ashley and Amanda are a strong girl team, because I hate to see that right at the beginning when it's like all the girl teams go, because then it's like, is this fair? Like, are they setting it up right? Like, but they've been not only doing well, they've been dominating. Like, and that's great to see. So
100%. Is that it? Is that the last one?
That was the last question.
Well, it's perfect because it leads into how the beginning of this episode started. So Chris and Aleisha are leaving first, and they're going to be going to Alice Springs, and they feel as though Ashley and Amanda are their biggest competition at this point, who are going to be leaving second. So they are a threat in at least Chris and Aleisha's eyes, and so they're probably feeling the heat of these girls that have been pretty consistent, except for making that Laksa.
Yeah.
They've been doing quite well. So what do you think about the Super Sikh getting their punishment of carrying a large kangaroo?
Well, when I first heard it, I thought, okay, well, it looks like it's going to be big, so that could be a bit irritating. We'll talk about it.
So he has thoughts and opinions. So Dwes and Katherine, so their salvage is that they're going to have a personal driver for this leg, and it seems like that was a Tesla, which I think is pretty fancy. So there's going to be air conditioning in that car. They look like they had some snacks and some water in there. So I thought that was a lovely salvage. What did you think of that offhand?
Yeah, I mean, they definitely improved the salvage pass from tour guide that doesn't really do anything to a driver that knows everywhere they're going.
Right, exactly. Or at least has like GPS right there that you could just like push something in. Like, and have you been in a Tesla before?
I have not, no, but they look good.
Smooth, and they're kind of cool cars. I don't know somebody that has a Tesla, but I've had 2 or 3 Uber rides in a Tesla. I was like, one of them had those DeLorean doors that went up on the side. Like, I was like, what am I getting into here? I'm sitting in the front, guys. Like, and Tony was like, oh, it was very cool.
Oh my God, I'd feel so fancy.
It was
like if the doors go up like that?
Yes. And for all of you guys that don't know what DeLorean doors are, well, watch Back to the Future, okay?
Yeah.
I'm realizing we just might have aged ourselves. They're like, what are they talking?
I don't care. The 80s are the best.
I mean, absolutely. I've seen the Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3 hundreds of times. Did I tell you this already? But my brother and I used to watch at least the first one over and over again to point out all the mistakes and the things that were inconsistent. So sometimes like the clock was at the wrong time in like different frames, or like, the suitcase was open but it's closed in this scene. Like we would look for all like the things that they didn't catch in the continuity.
Wow.
You've always kind of play games with things, right? Like, let's find these. So they had to go to the library. I don't even remember what they had to do. What?
They had to go to the library and find the sign-up sheet.
It's this. Okay, that's why I don't understand. I'm like, I wrote down Chris snatches the pen, And I'm like, what does that mean? But out of Amanda's hand at the board,
Yeah.
trying to sign up for the Times, correct?
Yeah, I found, so after the fact and seeing what the signups are for, like, I don't know why they needed the signups if they were just going to divide them into half. Like, it just, like, it was like half the teams got to go on one bus and the other half got to go on the other. And they didn't really have much of a time penalty, the back bus, because I don't know. It didn't make sense to me, but
didn't make sense. But I guess if the task had gone the way it was supposed to, maybe leaving in that order would have been a determining factor. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah. But what was your thought? If they have the pen and Chris takes the pen, who's first on the mat? Or like who's first in this situation? Because the two girls beat Aleisha to the thing.
I think that if both, like, they wouldn't have won that leg, right? The girls would have won the leg because they were both on the mat first. And if you're waiting for your partner to catch up and get to the mat, you're second. So the fact that he was basically blocking the path for them to hit the mat, I do not actually think that it's in good sportsmanship for them to muscle out the girls who were both there and ready to, like, if they had their own pen and just been like, yeah, well, sorry, here you go. Like,
yeah. So. Yeah, I felt that too. I like both teams, but I felt the girls probably deserved to be first and write their name down first there because they were there first. So they all had to show up at 4 a.m. So it was actually just like, you're right. It really didn't have that much significance. So they went to go sign up, and then I guess they're staying in hotels for this one. Yeah, or something. They're staying separate. Waking up at 4 a.m. And so what they're going to be doing, well, who is the biggest gas bag? Do you know that gas bags are a terminology for hot air balloons? I would not have thought of that.
Me neither.
Gas bag to me is like I'm trying to gas is like I don't know. It's like
whoopee cushion.
I don't even know what the word is to describe what a gas bag is, but like I just feel like it's just like I don't know.
What's a gas bag? I feel like I'm out in the cold here.
Yeah.
So it's the roadblock, and basically one teammate is going to be dropping colored bombs onto targets in a hot air balloon. Right. But both go with them.
Yeah,
okay, that's what I understand. So they're all in there. I guess maybe it's for weight and balance.
Maybe, or I don't know. Don't know again.
So they were attempting to go up, but the wind condition wasn't correct. And I know I've heard many times that with hot air balloons, like the wind conditions have to be kind of perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah. And they're kind of dangerous, more dangerous than people. Like they look so pretty in the air, but I've been hearing that they're a lot more dangerous than people know.
Yeah, I think from my memory on Amazing Race history, they don't use the hot air balloons too often because they've had issues. I think it was Amazing Race Asia. They had one where they weren't able to do the task because of it. I remember the family edition, like one team ended up like the balloon went out of control and they landed like almost on the highway. Like, yeah, it was like, okay, not good.
I mean, they look so pretty and they're romantic, and like, I do get excited seeing hot air balloons because you don't really get to see them that often. And I think I would probably still give it a try. But they do seem quite dangerous though.
They do. Yeah, I mean, they're quite noisy. And like when they do the fire thing, it's like, whoa, like it's scary.
Have you been on one?
So where I grew up in this small little town called Acton in Ontario, and they used to have this big park, and hot air balloons would, like, every Sunday they would like land in the park, like a whole bunch of them would land in the park, and so it was nice to see. But we go to the park in here, and you just hear. It's like, whoa!
Oh my god, that's so cool. Did you get to ever go up in any of them or no?
No. I would, though.
Yeah, I think I still would, even though the success rate seems quite low. So Violeta, surprise, surprise, his father is a balloon captain. I'm not sure what the terminology there is for that. And so she was really excited and feeling confident about this task. So she was going to be the one that was going to be doing the roadblock. Were you surprised by her being like knowledgeable of hot air balloons?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that random stuff, right? And it came in handy. It did come in handy at one point. So.
Like,
yeah,
I've never heard of that. I don't even think of the people that are operating it as it's being their profession. You know what I mean? So like, I'm like, wait, of course people do that for their job, career, or whatnot. Like, they have a business, absolutely. And so I just never really thought about it as being something that my father would be doing, you know? So I thought it was cool. So then walked in and let her be able to take control of this task. But it was too darn windy, and she recognized it was probably going to be tipping over, as well as the captain was like, we're going to tip over. And so Violeta did say that this is a normal landing, like tipping over is something that happens quite often. So it wasn't a dangerous, we'll say, landing. It's common. But now they had to change the whole task. Like the task that they had to do, that was a cool task. The one they had to do after basically allowed the second half of the, the second 4 or 5 people, however many there are, to catch up. And then they had like a race against like the first half of the pack to this back half of the pack to rope or fold up a hot air balloon.
Yeah, they did like an equalizer there that they could have not done and kept it fair. Like, it just really made it seem like nothing mattered this leg until this point. But, that's the race, and sometimes they don't think that out. And that, I mean, the people that really got something good out of this were the people who were running the task, because they didn't end up having to put it away. You don't see task cleanup very often.
We do that with children, right? You're always just like, okay, let's play a game. Let's see how fast we can clean up this room. Yay!
It's like the only way to for sure get somebody to clean up is be like, well, you want your clue envelope. You got to put it away.
Now, do you think that was a contingency plan that was made in advance, or do you think that was on the fly?
That felt a little on the fly to me. I think they were like, what, how can, they probably thought first, like, how can we still do the target thing? Oh, we can't make this work. What can we do?
I'm just trying to figure out what they were going to do. I was like, maybe they're going to like make them throw it onto a target from the basket or something. Like, I was like, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
I thought they were still going to use the target. I didn't think that would be completely out of the game.
Yeah. Such a wash.
It was a wash. So the back half of the team that had Violeta putting on her bossy pants, apparently. See, I think Jordan likes her bossy pants.
Yes.
Taking control of the back half of teams, and they were able to finish first and get out. So her knowledge was pretty accurate. And, she's like, people are like rolling down it, getting all the air out and stuff like that. And so I was happy that she maybe got some confidence, because she had been kind of bothering me in the last few legs with her not being capable of doing anything, which is fine usually. But then she's also complaining about it or crying about it or whining about it. And he's very patient. And so I'm glad that she got to excel here. Yeah.
Honestly, I think that sometimes it's really nice to see this random skill that no normal person has. This random skill of, the first thing I would do to making a hot air balloon, putting it away. I know how to do that. Like nobody does that. So it was nice to see.
I mean, I feel like you'd just be like like folding a giant fitted sheet.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and I
Right.
feel as though I would want to roll down it to get out the air. Like, I do think that that's something instinctual, but I'm happy that she got to excel.
Yeah.
So the next part of this, Ray, the route info is to go to the Dry River Regatta. So basically, they're going to be carrying kind of like a, I don't know if it's is a regatta the name of a boat? Like, is that what it is, or is that what a regatta actually is?
A regatta is like a boat race, so it would be yeah. So
those. Is that a dragon boat?
Pardon?
Not really.
They're like dragon boats, but I think that they're made out of metal frames. I think it's actually more of a metal frame to look like a boat thing. So it's like they make their own. It might be yeah. I think it's like modeled after dragon boat, but it's kind of also modeled after like those cardboard boat races, or like where you make it yourself and have to do the run with it. So
is it always then like like on land, or do they ever have a regatta in the water?
I don't know if this one would, but most regattas would be in the water. Like like whenever I've run a because I've done some dragon boat
I've done it once,
fundraisers and that, and they always they're always in the water. So yeah, I think that this one though I think might always be on land. I think it is sort of it's like a race holding up this thing and everybody runs. So. Yeah,
no, I'm just kind of trying to figure it, because I was like, I got when it was saying it was a dry river, right? Regatta. So I wasn't sure if regatta was the type of boat or the type of race. And so it's a type of race then, with a boating type vessel that they're carrying around. So I get it. So they basically had to carry this boat with metal poles around. It looked quite heavy. Apparently it's supposed to be a 6-person boat, and only 2 people are going to be carrying it. So I was worried for Christian and Aleisha, because they're both quite small. And it seemed like it was quite heavy. And it's kind of go around kind of an obstacle course with people, explosions, and spraying them with water. So what do you think about this task?
I actually didn't mind it. I thought it was kind of funny. What I liked about it, it's almost like the time when we saw them do the race with the bedpan on their head. Like, it felt very community made, this event. Like, it didn't feel like you'd go to Australia and see this regularly, but if you were part of the community, you might know about this thing that happens every year or something. So I like that part. And I like that there was a lot of interaction from things. I do feel like, I mean, some of those boats were probably very heavy. So for 2 people, that's tough but that's the race.
It's the race. It's the race. I mean, it was an okay task. I agree with your point with it being something that could be community, that, it's not necessarily typical to Australia, but for that area, like, that's something that they do. Right. I can see that for sure. It just seems a little bit homegrown. Like I want
very much
a little bit more glitz on the show.
Just a little.
So it seems a little backyardy. So even if they were doing the same thing, if it just looked a little bit more expensive or like high production value, I would have probably appreciated it a little bit more. But for what it was still kind of fun. The creative team is on overdrive this season with like figuring out what to do. So I actually think that would be a super fun gig, is to be on the challenge creation of the Amazing Race. Like, that would be fun.
Yeah, I think doing challenges or being the challenge testers. Ooh, amazing, right?
Challenge tester. Do you think you get paid for that?
I know that some people have been paid for that. Like, I've heard of people being paid for it. I know that a Survivor, definitely, right? Like, they do the challenge testers, and those people get, like, they flown in and they do like a testing of them on the site. So
I didn't know that there was a new career that I didn't think of that I'd want to have, but I think that this might be it.
Right. Yeah.
I'm gonna actually start looking into that because, like, if I'm not going to be on, say, Amazing Race Canada, I would love to be a game tester or an activity tester.
Right.
I think that that's so fun, and I would love to contribute ideas as well. Like, I want to be part of the game creation team.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Me and you. Let's go.
Watch me, okay? Phil, watch me.
Right.
You'll see. You'll see. Violeta and Jordan, they had a van, so they were leaving the hot air balloon to go to the regatta, and they didn't pick up Dolor and Holly. And they had many empty, or at least 2 empty seats in that van. What did you think about that move?
Yeah, I think it's kind of you don't need to do that at this point. Like, I don't know. I mean, my gut is telling me that people aren't minding Holly and Dolor as much anymore. I think that they may still be on a little bit on an island, maybe at the pit stops and that, but there hasn't been a lot of tension with them and other teams as much as there was at the beginning. I don't know. I probably would have shared a cab with them. Like, I mean, they're not overly showing at this point that they're an overly strong team, so I wouldn't be overly scared of them. And not doing it has put a target on, like, if a U-turn comes up, there's a target. Like, I don't know. If it was one of the really strong teams, I probably would have said they can find their own cab, but yeah. I
think that I would have picked up Dolor and Holly just because they're not a competitive team. And they weren't leaving in... Were they leaving in last place? Maybe that's why. I don't remember where in fact they were leaving. No, they couldn't have been.
Yeah, they were leaving in last
after all the taxis, Dolor and them were leaving in last place? Okay, fine. Yeah. Maybe in that situation, I'd be like, well, but it was at the beginning of the leg, so I would have... I don't know what I would have done. What would I have done? I would have probably taken them because I would want good karma.
Yeah.
That's what I would think. So it ends up being that Dwes and Katherine are in the front of this pack, and the Super Seeks were coming up behind them, and they were hoping to overtake them, which they did end up doing at the regatta, if I'm not mistaken. Did they? No, Dwes and Katherine did end up winning, but I thought that they were going to overtake them.
Yeah. It was close. I think they caught up a bit more, but they weren't. Yeah.
They still were able to win. So I was super excited. Dwes and Katherine doing well this leg. Yay. Really like them. I'm happy that they've overcome. I know they're family, so they're going to most likely overcome these things quite quickly because that's what happens with either really close friendships or family. So I'm happy to see that they are doing well on a leg right after a leg that they were doing so poorly at together. So they get the detour, which is build it or build or bathe. So for build, they have to go to the Alice Springs skate park and construct a ramp. And then bathe, they have to bathe, dry, and feed a carrot to a camel. Which one would you have done?
I feel like if I was racing with you, I would say let's do build, because I think we'd probably be okay talking with each other, and I think we would look around first and look at what the choices were, right? Which I still don't, right? But like, if I was with Ron,
that's like just like two slats on top of each other and a side piece with like 6 bolts, or do you want like the intricate one where you have to be like looking to see like,
yeah. But if I was with Ron, I would do the camel, because when we build furniture, it's not good.
Really? Wait, do I know when Ron's birthday? When's his birthday?
Ron's birthday is June 28th, so he's Cancer.
Cancer. Okay, so we would work better together because I'm an air sign and you're fire, so we tend to be able to collaborate in that kind of way a little bit better. Probably most of the time. in certain situations,
Yeah.
obviously. So that's really funny that you're like, well, I'm not going to put anything together with this guy.
Furniture is not good. We're great at building on our own. Like, we can do whatever, but put us together and we each think we know what we're doing. So.
Oh my God. Like, that is something that needs to happen. I need to watch that show. Can you start a reality show of just you guys putting together furniture from IKEA?
Go to IKEA and just start building.
That's actually that's a good idea. Like, a show be like, let's just watch couples put together IKEA furniture.
Furniture without instructions.
You self-destruct. We've got Blaine in the house. Hi, Blaine. We're talking today about the Amazing Race Australia. And then, of course, you know that we'll be talking about the challenge tomorrow after the episode, and then the challenge All-Stars on Thursday. So thanks for
All-Stars. Wow.
I know. Well, it's like basically OGs. People that haven't been on in like the last 10 years at least.
Okay.
So
okay.
It's going to be
wow.
Most people. It's going to be a good one. So, okay, so we would be doing build. Yeah, that seemed quite easy, in my opinion. So Amanda and Ashley are neck and neck with Christian and Aleisha at the regatta, and they overtake Christian because Aleisha. These, in my opinion, weren't the best 2 episodes for me enjoying her as a teammate or a player.
Yeah.
She is quite small, and I get that, but she was just kind of started complaining a lot about not being physically capable of carrying. I know it's heavy. I get it, but...
Yeah, she seemed to physically, like, have a breakdown when, like, about halfway through. Like, because, like, even when she finished and put the boat down, she was making noises. Like, she was, like, in pain. I was like, ooh, this did not go well for her. So,
well, and so bad that, like, when they were going to the detour, they're in the taxi, and right when they get there, she's like, pull over, because she had to throw up. And so that could be, like, I guess, lactic acid, like, from overexerting herself and not being used to that kind of physical exertion, but... And
I did you notice at the beginning of the episode they showed her when they went after they signed up at the library, they all went out and they're like, oh, we're gonna go get a meal, we're gonna go get vegan, and then they started throwing up. I'm like, that's awful.
Food? Do you think the vegan food got her?
Maybe it was the vegan food.
Vegan food's usually so good. Uh-oh. So the teams that chose Build It were Dwes and Katherine, Ashley and Amanda. Actually, that's all I wrote down. And then and Violeta and Jordan, they chose Bathe. The Cowboys also decided to bathe the camel. Did I not write on anybody else's? I guess not. So Amanda and Ashley, they finished Build It pretty quickly. Apparently, they said that they used to skate, or they had a skate park, or they were a boyfriend who skated. Like, they said something about
that. I honestly think the thing was they were smart enough to look around and look at the different choices, and they went, that's a box. We can build a box.
Yes, so they were able to finish right away. They did not have any trouble whatsoever.
Oh.
They did mention that they had some experience with, like, skateboarding, but I can't remember exactly what it was. But they're going to the pit stop, and the pit stop is going to be at Gan Station. It's the Alice Springs train station. So, spoiler alert, they leave, they get there, and they are team number 1. Were you happy about that? What did they win? They won an Alice Spring experience, whatever that is.
Ooh, whatever that means.
And they had to go.
Well, I don't know what that means, but I was happy for them.
Mm-hmm.
They ran a good leg.
I can't believe the leg is done though. Like, I was like, what? It was like, quick. But they are going to be keeping racing. So we know what keep racing means. It's going to be a non-elimination leg here. So keep racing. In second place comes Chris and Aleisha. They didn't manage to still keep their second place, even though Aleisha was sick. Third place ended up being Jordan Violeta. I wrote down beside it, wow. I guess I don't have much faith in that team either. I'm sorry, Violeta. Fourth was Skye-Blue and Jake. Fifth was the Cowboys. What did Skye-Blue and Jake do? Did they do the skate park?
They did the camel.
Oh, they did camel. Okay, I just don't remember.
Yeah.
Dwes and Katherine were 6, even though they were in decent placement over at the regatta. I guess they just weren't great at building the ramp.
They must have picked the hardest one.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Because it was like, why?
Because it was them and the Super Seeks.
Yeah, Super Seeks were their 7th, which was like, whoa, guys, you guys are not supposed to be doing that poorly.
I know what I was going to say about the Super Seeks. So this kangaroo pet thing is a whole load of crap. Because they didn't have to carry them. They put them in, they tied them to them. They didn't hold. It said that they had to hold in one hand. They're like, so we're only going to have one hand. And I was like, okay, well, then that's a punishment. But they had 2 hands. They were able to do everything.
I need to see exactly what it said. I need to know the wording. Yeah. It doesn't say, it can't touch the ground. Did it?
I don't know. I thought that they said that they had to hold it and they would only have one hand available, one arm available.
Well, did it say that though in the clue or then?
I don't know. We're gonna have to look that up.
Because if they were just taking what the instructions meant was that we're only going to have one hand if we're carrying it, but if the instructions actually says that it can't touch the ground for the whole leg,
right,
it would be different.
And then they were smart, and I'm sure that they were smart and everything. But I was just like, this is just another these sabotages. Why are we doing them if they're not actually doing anything?
Hold the damn kangaroo.
That's right. Just make it a non-elimination. We don't need this.
That's true. I do agree with you, to be fair. But, I would just say it's semantics, with the instruction. So 8th place is Holly and Dolor. What did I say?
And they look sad. They looked sad.
Oh, I said, I got teary-eyed.
Yeah. They look like they wanted to keep racing, so.
They really won me over. They have done a full 180. I didn't want them on my team at all, and now I think them and Dwes and Katherine were the 2 teams that I want to see do well. I really enjoy them not being great, but overcoming and not losing. What did I say? I don't even know what I wrote down here. Dolor and Holly have no something. Urgency. That's something though that bothers me about Dolor and Holly is that I want a sense of urgency, that they want to be there. And I know that they felt at the skate park that they were in last place and they probably are going home. And so they kind of were deflated a little bit, but I wish that they kept that, the fight going. And so when they get to the mat, which they did, and they learn that they're still racing and it's a non-elimination round, it would feel better to them because it seemed like they already gave up when they got to the mat. And I wish that they were still fighting to be there when they got to the mat, but who knows how to do that.
I see that.
So they are all welcome aboard this train. They're all in their own cabins. They have an iPad in there that has a video message saying that they needed to figure out how to get out of the cabin. Now, I thought this was amazing. I was so excited to see how that was going to go down. And then it just kind of fell flat. What do they need to find? What do they need to solve? What happened?
No clue.
No, they had
some sort of escape room challenge, which would have been cool to see them do each step and try and get out and have the cameras in the hallway and see who opens the door, and that could have been something.
I was so excited to see. That was a cliffhanger that I was like, I'm interested to see what they do with this, like, you know, murder on the Orient Express, you know, like I was so disappointed with whatever. I just saw somebody found a key at one point and they opened a door and then everybody was coming off the train.
Yeah. And it's like, why didn't they do something and then like have them have to find something on the train or to go grab their number and that gets them and then the other team people are all sitting there waiting for the next team to come out, and it would have been interesting to watch that.
It would have been interesting if people couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
Like I love escape rooms. I'm supposed to do one with my best friend probably this week because we were supposed to do it for both of our birthdays, and we haven't done it yet. So I love escape rooms, and I was just so excited to see them take advantage of having people in locked cabins, and it just fell beyond.
Did they go in like so? Amanda and Aleisha, we didn't get to know that. Like when they got on the train, did they go to their room and did this start right away? Or were they all put in the room at the same time? And it was like, okay, whoever gets out. Like, how did they determine that?
They did not solve that mystery for us. They did not lay out all the clues. They did not like dictate what the heck happened there. So I don't know where that footage is, but it's very disappointed. So they all, I guess, figured out how to get out of their cabins. And when they get to the destination, they're all standing with the host. And we have another surprise for us. This is the Amazing Race. It's so amazing that it's magical. And they magically have another team appear. So what do you think of, I don't even remember what their name is, Stan and Wayne. They are bodybuilders that are going to be joining this race.
I want to know, how did they determine which teams got this extra advantage of not having to race from the beginning of the race and will just be plopped in? Why did they say, oh, this show's boring, we need to add more teams? Like, why was this decision made to keep adding teams? Like, we're at like 9 and they're putting a new team in.
And they just put a new team in 2 legs ago. And we didn't like that either. I mean, the only thing that I can be thinking of is that there hasn't been that much programming because of COVID. And so they just want the season to last as long as possible because they're probably making their bread and butter for 2 years, you know, with it. But like, I was not happy with that at all.
No. Yeah, I mean, all the teams seemed like they were a little not upset about this in any way. Like, so they must have been expecting this might happen. But if it was me, I'd be like, "What the hell is this BS?"
I would be so angry. I mean, I'm sure people are angry, but they're just not showing those like clips.
Yeah, I would be like, "What is this?
Like, what's the point?
Who are these people?
Why, why are we racing if there's new teams that just get to come in and win?"
And the first team, they're strong, athletic, and now you're bringing people with giant muscles. I'd be like, I'm tired.
So on an attractive level, those 2 guys, how hot are they? Do you think that they're good looking? Sexy?
Well, they're not my world.
Oh my god, dead to see you dating someone that looked like that. It's so funny.
Yes.
I mean, to each their own, but it's definitely not my aesthetic.
No, I thought that compared to the photos that they showed of them, the photos I actually were kind of scared for them because they looked. I was like, ooh, like I don't quite get this, but but you know, I wanted to talk with
I think that having chiseled body, whatever, like great, like I like to seeing the discipline and like, you know, if you take a lot of enjoyment out of good physical health. But there's something when I see people that big that screams to me that something must be wrong. Like, it just like something must be unhappy somewhere, or like, you know, you've had a traumatic experience, because it just seems too extreme for it just to be a hobby. It's kind of like if someone's too skinny, or if they're too overweight, or if they get too much plastic surgery. Like, it's too extreme and excessive that it worries me. It looks like it's a red flag and a call for help, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the one guy said that the other one was sort of like a protege for him, and like a role model. So maybe he was at a stage in life he needed to turn things around or something. I don't know, but yeah, but who knows? I think the girls are more. To me, I would be more scared of the girls coming into the race than these guys, just because I feel like the girls have they're well-rounded, right? Like they've got a lot going for them, MJ and Chelsea. Whereas the guys, we've already sort of seen a couple things where it's like, yeah, I don't know if they're going to be the strongest.
Wait, you don't think that they're going to change the misconception that people have for bodybuilders? You don't think that they're going to change the way you think about them?
Well, I mean, I found, we'll get to it, but I just have to say, like, I could already tell that they were going to try and muscle in on that bucket challenge, and they looked exhausted by the time that they got through that, because of their bodies. Like, they can't race that fast doing that because they get winded. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're going to be great on this race. I mean, I'm just going to have to just go with the punches, roll with the punches, because it's not, I don't want a team coming in, and I don't want the team to be them. It's like, no, I'm just going to go with it because it's all content, and it's all encompassingly entertaining. It's just choices that I would not have made personally. But one thing, though, with them coming in is, so they're leaving in last place, and it means that Dolor and Holly are at least in second to last place now, and so they at least got to move up a spot. Do you think that them getting to leave in last place is worth it? Or do you want something bigger punishment for them? Or disadvantage?
It's like 9. They shouldn't be there. I don't get it. I think that there should, if they're gonna bring a team in, then they need to earn it. So put the 2 teams that came in and make them do something against each other, and one of them get back in.
Yeah, or something. I don't know. Or race the whole race. Start the race with 30 people, then, if that's what you really want to do. Like, I mean, they probably couldn't do that because of filming wise. Like, that would just be insane to like have 30 teams that there's camera crews and then editing that. Like, that would be too much. So I guess that's why they're doing it this way. But they really, I don't know. They need to workshop this because I'm not a fan. So they're going to the detour, which is above or below. So with above, they're going to be taking their buckets and doing 100 buckets of these rocks, a pile of rocks, into like a sifter. I don't know what it is. And the below is that they're going to go down into some like mines and find a piece of opal, because where are they? They're in Coober Pedy, which is the opal mining capital of the world. So they get to go mine some opal. Which task would you have done?
I didn't actually mind either of the tasks. I think I would have been fine for either. I think I actually would have probably liked to go and do the underground.
Yeah, I think that'd be most interesting.
Yeah.
It's probably what I would have done, because like the race is already tiring. Do I really want to do 100 buckets like with other people that are like doing 100 buckets. I think I would want to do the mines because it would be a little bit of an experience. It would be kind of like, not that it was like a vacation, but it's more of a sightsee than an activity, you know?
Right.
So Ashley and Amanda do below. Chelsea and MJ, obviously, they're the footies. They did above. Super Seeks also did above. Cowboys above. Is that what I wrote there? Yes. Dolor and Holly, they did below. Jordan Violeta above. I was surprised by that. Bodybuilders, of course, above. And Dwes and Katherine did below. I think I got everybody. Oh, and Skye-Blue and Jake did below. So it's pretty, and Chris and Aleisha did below. So the people that did below are the teams I would expect to do below, except for I would assumed that Jordan and Violeta wouldn't have wanted to do the rocks.
Yeah.
But everybody else was like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep, I agree.
You agree? Perfect. Page turn. It seems though that the people that did below were having a lot more trouble finding the opal. They didn't make it really clear what in the clue that we saw what they were looking for exactly. I'm sure that they got a more detailed clue within that package. But it seems as though people weren't able to find the opal, and then they did not seem to be able to find the exit. Because the exit was different from the entrance. I guess they had to rappel down or climb down, and then their exit was somewhere else. Speaking of exits, how did you feel about Dolor and Holly finding the exit? Holly wanting to go this way, and Dolor very definitively being like, no, it's not.
This is not it.
And then later on, oh, this is it. This is the way. This is the exit after. And she's like, we've already been here.
Yeah. She handled that well. Because if it was me, I would have been like, listen, I said this and you said no, and now you're pretending that you didn't say no. But she did really well, and that was good on her, to not start a fight with him, because it's still you still got a bit to go this leg. So that was really smart of her, because we've seen them sort of bicker. So she's doing what she can to keep the team on track. So good for Holly.
Well, what I just wondered though, when they found that room, they have to assume that everything that's on The Amazing Race is intentional. So if they're stumbling over a room that looks like there could be people there, that's not the mining place, just be like, hey, before we go back to the mine, let me just go peek around the corner just to make sure that there's not a flag here. I just don't understand why they didn't thoroughly look through that room. Why was he so assured that it was the wrong spot, you know?
Right.
I'd be like, let's look here. Let's just check.
Look.
Here.
Yeah.
Silly. But MJ and Chelsea, they left first, did they not?
Yes, they did. From the rocks, from doing the rocks.
From doing the rocks. And the next route info is that they're going to be going to St. Elijah's church, and it's underground, and they're going to be arranging some mirrors in order to reflect against each other and to reflect onto an opal. How are you with reflections and stuff like that?
Good. No problem. I don't think I have good eyes. I think I can see where things are going pretty well with that. I found that this task was weird. I just didn't get why this was happening. It's just in a church, and it just felt very theatrical for what it was. I don't know.
Well, it reminds me. So I don't know if you watched this back in the day, but I used to watch a TV show called MathNet, and you did, yeah. So I just remember.
Oh my God, I know what you're going to talk about.
Right? The angle of incidence equals angle of reflection. And they talk about it with the pool table. So I always think of angle of incidence equals angle of reflection. So I always understand how mirrors work. And so when I played in a live reality game, they actually had a thing like this where you had to get the laser to hit certain like target marks on a wall and like use the mirror to like reflect it and hit and bounce it off all these things. So I actually think I'd be really good at something like this, but I do attest it to MathNet. Angle of incidence equals angle of reflection.
Chantele, you are the first person in all like for years and years and years that has acknowledged that show, that knows what I'm talking about. Like, I can name any show and people are like, yeah, but nobody ever remembers this show. And I'm like, I used to love this show.
If the first number is the same as the last number, then it's a palindrome. I can't remember exactly how it goes. I remember that song. I used to love MathNet. It was a rewatch. If we need
oh my god, that would be a great rewatch because I'm sure if we watch it, we'll be like, this is awful.
I love that show though. I love math and I love that show. So I'm happy that I could make you feel at home knowing that there's somebody else that watched that show too. Like I loved it.
Oh yeah. Too funny.
So yeah, I don't think that this task was that difficult. I guess the most difficult part was that there was a 2-minute time limit, and it seems as though it starts from when you entered the room, not from when you got to the actual room where it is. So I thought that was kind of shitty that you really had to rush to get there because your clock started. MJ though and Chelsea weren't very good at this, and they failed their first time around. But then after that, pretty much not everybody, but a large bunch of them. So Jordan and Violeta, they did it first try. They left second. Oh, wait, hold on.
Yep.
Dolor and Holly. Sorry, go ahead.
The Super Seeks were first.
And yeah, they got it their first try as well. Pretty much a lot of them got it on their first try. And when Dolor and Holly went there, though, I'm just like, they were last. But, like, there's no urgency. But then he kind of, like, hustles her. Like, oh, you're not being fast enough. But, like, she's just, like, setting the thing accurately. And I'm just like, Dolor, just either do it yourself or have more urgency or be a better, like, explainer here. What did you think about Dolor and Holly trying to do this task?
Oh, yeah. That was one of those communications things, and he's telling her off, and she's shaking, and he's like, you're shaking. And it's like, well, of course she's shaking. You're yelling at her.
I do love them, though. I do. Oh, yeah, so the Super Seeks got their first try. Chelsea and MJ, they failed their second try as well. Like, what the heck? Like, they definitely did not excel.
The other teams are hoping for lasers. More lasers.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, ooh, maybe they'll be out this round. I'm like, that's so tasty. I didn't really write down who left last, I don't think. But the next thing is a roadblock. And so who's good at sign language? So who out of the two of us would have done that?
Well, knowing the race and knowing that they would have put an emphasis probably on the sign. I love signs. I love that. I don't know sign language.
Yeah, I do know sign language, so I'd be wondering.
Oh, well then, baby, we go with you.
But that, what a bad, like, what a sneak attack! Because, like, I would have been like, I don't want to paint this thing.
I would have been okay with painting. I don't mind that.
But I would be like, well, I know sign language. So if it's like remembering words or reading words or learning something, I would probably be like, yeah, I'll do that. So they might have tricked us. Maybe. So what they have to do is they're going to have to paint. So the sign says, was it Cooper Petey? Cooper Petey. It's a big white sign, kind of like the Hollywood sign, but definitely not Hollywood. Cooper Petey and Hollywood are very different places. Half of it red or yellow and half of it red. What was the point of that?
I don't know. I'm like, okay, so is this sign regularly standing there? Why are they is it just to say the race is here? Are they going to paint it back white when they're gone? Like,
all questions I would love to have.
Yeah. I don't know. It's so weird.
I don't actually know. Like, maybe they are going to paint it back, or maybe they're going to leave it being like Peter Cootie, or Cooter Pete, whatever it's called.
Cougar Petey.
Oh, like Cougar Petey.
Cougar Town.
In my head. But it's like the Amazing Race was here. Maybe they want to have that as a landmark to make it look like, wow. Maybe so they'll leave it.
I don't know. Maybe they change it every so often. But I don't know.
So whatever. So Chris and Aleisha are there pretty quickly. They were able to finish it to their first try. Oh wait, no, lying. That's Chris and Aleisha's finishing their first try at the mirrors. Same with Ashley and Amanda, first try at the mirrors. Okay, and I wrote down, oh boy, one of the bodybuilders can't read a map, and he is the navigator. I was just like, really? Like, these are the two people that have to come and mess up like the nice bonds that these people are having on my race, and they can't read a map. Annoyed. I was annoyed. And then I was annoyed.
Maybe they won't be around for very long. I don't know.
We can dream. We can only dream. So Aleisha doesn't know her lefts from rights, so she starts painting like the right side, I think it was orange, as opposed to the left side orange. And I'm like, what? How do you not know your lefts and rights? How are you with your lefts and rights, Phil?
I'm fine with my lefts and right. What's worse, not knowing your left or right, or painting the wrong letter when you're supposed to paint it in order? Probably painting the wrong letter, right?
They're both going to be, if they just went through the whole thing, it would be equally as bad.
Yeah.
So, because like they would have finished the letter and then they would have to get a penalty. Right. So
at least and this isn't an excuse because you should know your left and right, but at least she went first. Like at least like it wasn't like, oh, all these other people have already gone and I'm not going to do it right.
I mean, then there'd be no chance that she would have done it wrong. I don't think. I think though that it's worse to do the wrong letter because that is at fault of not reading your clue correctly.
Right.
And that's more detrimental than making a mistake over your brain just flipping something around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, but they're both quite bad. Both terrible. So, oh my God, I wrote down after this, Jordan and Violeta crumble as usual. What happened? Was it in the mirrors or was it at, I don't know. They always crumble.
Oh. I don't remember when they crumbled.
Well, they probably just couldn't get something and she got.
It might have been the sign. Maybe it was at the sign because I know she was tired and she said like it was hurting.
Or maybe she couldn't find it. Maybe they had direction because they have direction problems all the time. So maybe it was there. But the bodybuilders end up getting to the mirror task and they are able to figure it out first try. So I was kind of impressed there. Did they move ahead of the footies?
No.
No. They didn't do too well.
No, they were just after them. They got it right after them.
So I wrote down, oh no, the Super Seeks went to the wrong sign. How did they manage to do that? Like I was really excited for them because I remember one of them had said, oh my God, like we saw this coming in. I know the sign that we're talking about. So I was like, yes. And then they went to the completely wrong sign.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
I think that's thinking you know the right answer. And, sometimes you need to ask.
And when they ask, so they get to the wrong sign and there's like one lonely van in the middle of like a desert. And they ask the guy if they could call to, or like to use his phone and find out where the biggest, Cooter PD sign there was. And so the guy was so skeptical of these two because they're like covered in like soot and like I don't know what it was. And he's just like, you guys look kind of dodgy. Like they look so sketchy. Like you don't have a phone over there? And like they just would not, he wouldn't budge for a bit.
Like it's so funny, like because you never really see that, but that's gonna happen on the race where people are like, "What? Why do you need my help?" Like, oh, I don't need to. And well, what was he doing? He was by himself at a sign. That's kind of
yeah. He was way more dodgy than those two that are in like a vehicle with a camera crew. Like, I mean, I guess I can understand it being like, I would think that you guys have a phone. We're like, yeah, we got a phone in our lives, but like, we don't have one right now because we're on a race. Just say you're on a damn race. Do it.
Right.
Look at it. But I am happy that that guy was there to be able to get them some directions because I didn't want them to completely drive in the wrong direction and then be at risk of going home. So I'm happy that they were able to connect with somebody to put them on the right track. So the Sikhs finally get to the sign. And wait, who's second place? Other teams show up. Were the Sikhs still in second place? Wow.
Yeah, the sign. Yeah, they were in
So
second.
they didn't really lose that much time. They lost their first place spot, but second is not bad when you have a big mistake like that. Phew.
True.
So the next task, the next detour is to catch a hole in one. And so they have to hit a golf ball, and then the other teammate has like a hole with a net on it, like a green with a net, where they have to catch the ball that's hit. What do you think about this as a task?
Well, I was extremely excited that we went here because Amazing Race Season 2 of the American season goes to this golf course as well. So it was nice to see
the one?
golf course. The American one on Season 2, they went there. So it was nice to see it because it's such an odd golf course. Like it's all rock and all that. This task that they had to do with the catching the golf ball thing, I didn't quite get it. Like I was like, what? How are people going to do this? Like it seems like the ball wasn't that big, so it's like, how are they going to do this? It's going to bounce off, but it was a good task. It'd be a fun game. I think that could be something that people could learn how to do. It's like frisbee golf.
Interestingly enough, yesterday I did not a marathon, but I watched part 1 and part 2 of the Tiger documentary. So I was like all golf. I'm like, give me some more golf. I developed a crush on Tiger Woods. I'm just like, oh my God, he's amazing. Like, I'm gonna go. So I felt as though it was a sign that there was a golf task the day after, or the day I was watching it the same day that I just had finished watching all this about Tiger Woods. So I thought that was kind of funny. But people weren't as good a golfer as Tiger Woods was. I have only, I think, ever mini putted, so I don't know what my drive or my swing would be like. How about you? Have you been to a driving range before?
Yeah. So I have been commended on the power behind my golf swing.
Oh.
Apparently, I have rage. I'm good at like being kind of the right stiffness and doing stuff like that. I'm not the best golfer by any means, but that first initial hit, I've got some power, so that's good.
I've never tried it. It's something I would try for sure. So would it be better than if I tried to hit it and you catch it, or me catch it?
I think then it would be better for you to hit it and me trying to catch it. I would think, yeah. But they weren't using like a big club. They were using one of like the wedges or to do it. So, yeah, I thought it was a neat task.
It's different. They're definitely making do with what they've got.
I did like that they had to wear the hats and people's hats kept flying off and they had to keep like trying to catch their hats.
You know, I love a good costume, so absolutely. I love It's like mandatory. They should be wearing a costume the whole race. I wrote, oh Lord, Aleisha has poor hand-eye coordination. This is where like this leg, these two legs, I've been just like, oh God, Aleisha is just like starting to whine. She can't hit the golf club, and she's skinny, and she's crying, and she can't eat Weetabix, and like, I don't know. I mean, Chris has the patience of a saint, because I believe that they very much love each other, and he's always still so motivating towards her. I would have been fed up a long time ago. I'd just be, snap out of it. You're on a race. Like, get over it.
Oh.
Would you be able to be her partner?
I like her. She's great. I think that, you know, I feel like she's being challenged, but she's getting through it, and I like that. It's definitely been a tough race for her, though, especially the last couple of legs. But I'm more on Team Aleisha. Chris.
Is it because she's on your team, your number one pick?
No, I think they're great. I felt like we got to know them a little bit better this last two or so legs. Like,
and you don't want to trade? So I didn't really write down everything that happened there. But what did I talk about though? So Dolor, basically though, what ended up happening, like everybody finally got to the golf and everybody left basically until it was Dwes and Katherine that were there, and then Dolor and Holly. I was actually surprised that the bodybuilders were able to get it, because I was thinking that with those big muscles that they wouldn't be able to have the right form. Be like I just don't know if they have like they
get their arms up to catch.
I'm sorry. If you're a bodybuilder watching, I'm sorry that I'm making fun here. It's just muscle will get in the way. And so I would think, because like big boobs, they wouldn't be able to golf very well because they have to put their arms together. So it's just a physical.
Well, they have those videos of like these really strong guys, and then you put like a sticky note or something on their back, and they can't get to it because their arms, right? Like, I mean, they have great arms, but I mean, it limits what they can do a little bit.
Oh my God. I need to go look up YouTube videos of that, or like TikToks of that. I think that is going to be my new pastime. I'm going to do a compilation and I'm going to put it up on Reality Right. Hilarious. So they basically are not doing well. So Dwes is hitting and Katherine's trying to catching. It does say in the clue that you can catch another team's ball. And so that's what ended up happening. Dolor ends up catching Dwes's ball, which means that Holly and Dolor are able to leave before Dwes and Katherine. Holly felt bad. She's like, oh my God, I feel bad that we caught their ball, but it was part of the game.
Yep.
It was, unfortunately. And so they were able to leave, and everybody's already at the pit stop. So I'll just quickly tell the order. So first place, your team, Chris and Aleisha, team number getting $5,000 a piece, which is a good leg to win. I'd rather that over like the spa day. Second is Ashley and Amanda. The Super Sikhs are third, Cowboys fourth, MJ and Chelsea fifth. The what's her name? What is it? Oh, Stan, and I'm like, who is that? Stan and Wayne. I only have Stat and Way, and so I'm like, what's Statway? Statway, it's the way. Statway, Stan and Wayne. Then Jordan and Violeta, Skye-Blue and Jake, Dolor and Holly, and then last in is Dwes and Katherine. They were not able to catch that ball fast enough in order to make enough time to be able to overtake Dolor and Dolor. But the back three teams, they're all on my team. Back four teams are all on mine, actually.
Oh my God.
Because I have Jordan and Violeta are me. Skye-Blue and Jake are me. Dolor and Holly are me. And Dwes and Katherine are me as well. Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, my
God. Talk with these teams.
Do they know how much faith I have in them?
Oh, jeez.
So from your team, who do you think is going to win the whole race?
Well, I don't know. I don't know yet. I mean, the Super Seek, they're on my team, I believe, the Super Seeks, if I remember. I feel like the way that we see the Super Seeks, even when they're not doing well, we get to see it. Like, so I feel like that they've got a chance that they're going to go really far.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I'm happy with the top 3 teams there. I think that they're all mine. So I'm happy with them.
Eye roll emoji.
Now, another fun little story. So, as much as the golf course was on Amazing Race 2, the pit stop was on a Netflix show recently. Maybe a year and a half ago. It was 4 property owners that do they do them as Airbnbs. They go visit each other's Airbnbs. So they actually went to theirs. So it's actually really interesting because it's all underground, like the whole B&B. So it's really cool to see. So I forget what it's called, but watch it on Netflix. It was an Australian series, and it was all about B&Bs. So I would recommend that show because I got really addicted to it because it reminded me of the British show 4 in a Bed, where they go to each other's beds at breakfast. It's really good.
Oh, I want to watch 4 in a Bed.
That's a great show. You'd like that, Chantele.
Remind me, and I will definitely watch it. So they're all at the match. Dwes and Katherine are not able to overcome, and they are going to be leaving this race. And it just annoys me because I would have rather Stan and Wayne gone. I'd rather MJ and Chelsea out of there. Not that if they weren't there, they would have done any better, but I just don't want them to be going home when there's those 2 new teams in there, you know? So sad, but the host, he loves some of these teens because he gives only some of them hugs that we notice. You know, he loves like Dolor and Holly. He loves. Who else did he hug? He hugged another the 4 teams that came on the mod. I think it was Skye-Blue and Jake and somebody else. Anyway,
yeah, I did notice Jake's eyes looked at the camera like he was like awkward. But,
so we have a survey that we could talk about quickly.
We do. Which team are you rooting for in the small feud between Ashley and Amanda and Chris and Aleisha?
Ashley and Amanda.
All right. How much did the salvage pass help this round on a scale of 1 to 5?
I'm like, what was it?
The car.
Well, the driver. Well, obviously it didn't help enough for them to win. So,
yeah, I think it might have helped a really strong team, though.
Well, I guess it wasn't this second leg, anyways. That's what I'm kind of judging on. So I think I do think it was a good salvage. I do think it was good.
Yeah. How much did the sabotage hurt them?
Not much. They were able to outgame it.
I'm still a little angry about it, even though they're my team. How would you motivate your partner, Chantele, to keep going after they've been physically sick and can't go on? Open-ended question.
Oh, my God. I'd be like, you can do it. You're feeling sick now, but you will feel better. You're not always going to feel like this. Let's just get to the pit stop, or let's just get to the next task where you can sit down. And I'd just be like, let's just get there instead of just not knowing where we are. I don't know if it would be helpful, but I wouldn't be like, okay, let's just take a break here. Like, I'd be like, let's take a break where we know what's going on.
Yeah, I think I would be like, just remember that this is a show, and if we stay here, they're going to keep like videotaping your throw up. So we've got to get out of here.
Yeah, I totally looked to see how big the barf pile was. You know,
we don't need everybody knowing. So, how happy were you that Dolor and Holly did not get eliminated?
I was very happy. It was bittersweet because those are my two favorite teams, but I wanted Dolor and Holly to stay more than I wanted Dwes and Katherine to stay.
Yeah. Do you like the addition of the new team?
No.
All right. Your partner, here's another open-ended question for you. Your partner just won't listen to you, and you know how to complete a task correct. How do you get your point across without going into a team meltdown?
I would probably, like, if it was that exact scenario, I would have been like, hey, I'm doing this. So you can go walk off and do whatever you want, but I'm going to go check around this corner. Follow me or not. That is what I'm doing. And if I'm correct, I will wait for you here. Like, I would have investigated that spot. I would not have allowed him to take me out of that. But I'm also too much of like people listen to me too often or believe what I have to say too often that I don't think I'd be in that situation. And I'm willing, if I'm wrong about something, I'm still willing to say, like, shoot, yes, I was wrong. I'm sorry. Like, I led us in the wrong direction. So I don't think that I would be in that situation. But if I was, I would definitely put my foot down, because there's nothing I hate more than a told you so's that don't benefit me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I told you so, but I'm last. Like, that's not good. Like, told you so, and like I went the right way and it was correct. I like that kind of I told you so.
Those told you so's are okay. All right. Leg 9 and 10 tasks. What was hardest? We had some different ones here. So the hot air balloon pack up, the regatta run, the building the skate park ramp, the washing the camel, that fun little pit stop puzzle we didn't get to see. 100 buckets of opal. Find one opal in the cave, laser mirrors, painting the big sign, or the hole-in-one golf catch. Chantele.
What were the first ones again?
The hot air balloon pack up, the regatta run, the build the skate park ramp.
I think the regatta run and the hole-in-one were the two hardest tasks.
I like that, yeah.
Because the regatta, like, it's heavy and it's hot out and it's so dusty. Like, it would just be very uncomfortable, and I probably wouldn't enjoy doing that. It would be like, oh, let's get this done. Like, oh my God, this is so annoying. Like, it's exhausting. So,
and the whole one was so windy too.
Windy, and I would hate having sweat and dust on my face. Like, I would hate that. And be sweating and everything just be turning to like clay. Like, that's gross. So that would be pretty hard. And then the hole-in-one, like, if you're not good at golf, like, getting the hang of that could take a little while. So I think those are the two most difficult to do.
I think it was a tough 2 legs.
Yeah, it was pretty hard in general. Yeah.
Let's see what they were. It was actually kind of tough. Were you sad to see Dwes and Katherine eliminated?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. With the addition of this new team, now which team are you rooting for? And last week you said Dwes and Katherine. Now who are you rooting for?
I guess I'd have to go all in on Dolor and Holly and just hope for the best.
Wow.
I mean, because I do think that Skye-Blue and Jake are interesting, and I think that they do decently well, but they don't show them that much. So
no,
I'm not really sold on their story. Not really sold on Jordan and Violeta. She's starting to annoy me. Chris and Aleisha is starting to annoy me. I do like the Super Seeks as well. I think that they have a really good shot at winning. Who else is there? The Cowboys.
What about the Cowboys?
I haven't been showing them that much.
No.
I think being in the final 3 though. Still, I don't care about MJ and Chelsea at all. I don't care about Stan and Wayne. that everybody? I think that's everybody. Oh, and I like the girls. So the 3 teams that I'm shooting for right now is Amanda and Ashley, Dolor and Holly, and the Super Seeks. Those are the teams that I like the most.
I like those 3 teams. Like, I think that there's a good chance that they could do very well. Yeah.
Dolor and Holly, they might be out every round, though. You know what I mean? So I could see them not getting.
Yeah.
But I can also see them just slipping by every week.
Just slipping by.
So.
Well, that's the survey. So everybody that watches this, fill out the survey. We want to hear from you. Very exciting. Thank you, everyone who participated last week. It's great.
Thank you. And Phil, for you, do you have anything that you want to plug with the people?
Well, we have a fun month coming up at Good Time Games with Adam and Phil. If you can find us on Facebook, we have 2 fun games for people who might want to play games in an open group. So on April 11th, we are doing an afternoon of games just that we do in our games packages called a Wild Card Day. So you can come play that 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Or on April 23rd, we have our next tagged game, which is an online social strategy game, elimination game. You can win cash. And the fun thing about this month is it is Oscar themed.
Ooh, I might have to participate. We'll just see.
Well, if Chantele plays, you can play with Chantele as well. How much fun would that be? Reality.
That would be the prize, wouldn't it?
maybe we'll also get you subscribers from this.
True. Maybe they force everybody to subscribe. And speaking of forcing people to subscribe and money, please subscribe to Reality Realness with 3 S's. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers. Once we get there, please be part of our growth and send me a screenshot showing that you subscribe, and I'll put you in a draw to win $100 or $100 Amazon gift card. So just subscribe, get your friends to subscribe, create a new account and subscribe, get us there, and I'll stop hounding you over it. But I'm trying to also give you money. So let me give you some money. We're both getting something out of this. That would be amazing. So. We'll see you soon. Final thoughts?
We'll see you later.
Bye. I'm doing this now. Bye.